What's up, dudes? Max here, and not too long ago we received the full trailer from Tokyo Game Show for the latest Season 2 character of Killer Instinct. Of course, as we all know, it's Maya, however the hell you want to pronounce it. She's here, and we finally get to see her in official capacity. The trailer is already up on my channel, and I had the luxury of being able to process it at the highest resolution possible on YouTube with some new tricks that YouTube allows, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. But let's talk about her gameplay and overall her design, how she looks, and her stage. And I briefly want to cover how the first time we saw Maya was in concept art only, which I was a little worried about, mostly because the concept art was amazing. It was absolutely awesome, and it looked really good. And I was a lot more pleased with Maya than I was than TJ's initial reveal and character design reveal. But I was worried that since we saw concept art first, that the design of the character might not be able to hold up as well in-game. And believe it or not, the in-game version holds up fairly well of Maya. I was pretty surprised, especially with the face. And a lot of characters that are female characters specifically, especially ones that are kind of designed outside of Japan, don't tend to fare very well. I think Orchid and Sadira came along pretty good, but to be honest, I think that Maya is probably the best looking female in Killer Instinct cast as of right now, especially when it comes to how her face is designed. And she looks fantastic, especially compared to the concept art. They did a really good job, especially for this being the first female character that Iron Galaxy has taken on. And all things considered, TJ's come a long way too, so they're doing a very good job so far. Regarding her stage, there's some parts that I really like, and there's some parts that I feel kind of fall a little flat. I do like that there's a lot of flora and fauna on like the left and the right hand side of the stage, how there's like trees falling down and stuff like that throughout the trailer, and there seems to be a lot of animals and creatures and spiders and snakes and crazy bugs everywhere, kind of that like Maya lives in this environment and this is where she feels comfortable. The background, like the far distance background, is not as much as I'd expect it to be from the concept artwork. I think another big issue that led me to have high hopes is that concept art looked absolutely freaking amazing. And some of the dams in the back left and the Mayan-like temples in the back right don't hold up as much as the artwork, and it comes off as a little flat. The Ultra sequence that we saw has like lightning striking again, and the weather kind of changes halfway through the trailer, so that's kind of cool. It seems to be a kind of a light version of what happens in Thunder Stage, with like the tornado and the weather and all that crazy stuff. I do really like seeing stage transitions and how Ultras change stages and stuff like that. That's something that randomly gets me excited. But either way, Maya looks like a projectile character gameplay-wise. She has two daggers, she can drop the daggers, and the daggers have to be collected. And they do show it happen in the trailer that she can actually do like a backflip and pick up the daggers at any given point. And in other gameplay videos that were shown off IGN at Tokyo Game Show, if she does certain special moves over the daggers that are on the ground, she picks them up automatically. It doesn't look like you can just walk over them and get them, but we'll find out more about that fairly soon. But the daggers themselves go to the opponent and they hit the ground. That's the one thing that we can tell, is that they actually drop off the opponent when they hit them. So we don't know specifically how these like level up things are going to work. They didn't show anything crazy about how the daggers gain levels in the trailer, but we did see quite a bit of how they're used to kind of combo from full screen. There's a moment where she throws two daggers and then does this leaping short jump, which is crazy mobility. It looks like it goes forever, but the angle does kind of change. But it shows you that she can kind of combo off a dagger's projectile from full screen, which is nuts. Also showing the fact that she can do what appears to be like a launcher ender and do juggling daggers to kind of keep you in combo. That's pretty freaking insane. And the general opener / ender rules are going to change a bit in mid-combo, mostly because the rules are going to change for combo breakers in Season 2, which might make Maya really freaking good. She does also appear to have a recapture, a move that sets the opponent back from an aerial position when they're in a combo back to the ground so that you can cash out damage, which is pretty awesome. I think a lot of stuff she's going to have is going to revolve around doing an ender and then getting back into a juggle position where you can do the recapture and then getting the opponent back to the ground for a reset or something like that. She does do it a couple times in the trailer, and it looks pretty awesome. And I believe the thing we see at the very end where she's tossing daggers like crazy is her Ultra, because there was an Ultra shown at TGS, but it was kind of a placeholder Ultra, which was from Orchid. That makes me also kind of curious how they were talking about how the previous character they showed, TJ, was initially modeled after Thunder, but then TJ got his own character rig, and he looks a lot better now. I think that Maya might still be under the Orchid character rig, and that she could get an updated rig of her own a little bit later. Some things like her default pose, I'm not too big of a fan of. She doesn't move very much and doesn't have too much personality, but when she starts like moving around, oh, it looks freaking awesome. Overall, I'm fairly impressed with Maya. It's kind of hard to say whether or not she's going to be amazing because if those daggers can be dropped, you have to go back and get them all the time. And if you're locked out of having a dagger, then that could severely adjust how your game plan is going to be. I keep hearing different things of how, when you don't have a dagger, how her buttons change completely, so we'll wait to find out officially what's going on with that, because it does look like a lot of her gameplay is a little early in the TGS build, especially if certain things like her Ultra and other elements are still similar to Orchid. But either way, I'm fairly impressed. All things considered, with a new character, especially a female, I was kind of worried this one wasn't going to come out too well, especially with TJ coming out kind of rough at the start, but Iron Galaxy is actually showing that they can pull this stuff off, and it definitely looks like they learned a lot from TJ. The big thing that's coming up next is the teaser that happened at the end of Maya's trailer, which is for a mummy of some kind. Or, as it appears to be, not a mummy. A lot of the guys at Iron Galaxy and the developers are saying that it's not a mummy, even though it seems to be an old, decrepit, zombie-like creature with, like, gauze and mummification things all over his arms and bandages and stuff like that. It looks like a mummy, like 100%, but they're saying it's not. If we can pull some stuff that comes from the stage at the very end, there seems to be some sort of, like, enchanting stage that appears to be full of somewhat Egyptian artifacts and a lot of other stuff. There's, like, pharaoh statues. There's weird, like, astronomical, like, you know, dated technology that is not modern at all, that looks very old, and I swear a lot of the people on the trailer did make note of this, and I did not see it until I checked it out. There is totally the Ark of the Covenant. That's right. The Ark of the Covenant it is in there. So that's, who knows what this character actually ends up being, or if the mummy itself is not actually what the character is, if there's a character piloting the mummy and uses like undead mummies, if there's a giant pharaoh. I don't know. I started thinking of Stargate, and I got really excited to hear think of like a Stargate style character in KI. But either way, what do you guys think of the mummy? What do you think of Maya? Until we find out more about her core gameplay and actually get our hands on her and see what she's like, I'll let you guys know, but it looks like she might be a little bit more difficult to use, especially with the fact that you got like these dash-in combos, you got these juggling dagger combos. She's not as easily accessible as somebody like Saberwolf, you know what I mean, or even Orchid. It looks like she might be fairly complicated, especially when you have a character that loses the ability to do something and you have to regain back that ability. Yeah, man, that inherently adds a couple of points to the difficulty scale, but I'm looking forward to using her, and not to mention that freaking track might be my favorite of any of the KI tracks. I can't wait to hear the whole thing. What do you guys think of the music? What do you think of Maya? And what do you think of the not a mummy at the end of the trailer? I'll be back with more as soon as possible, and if I can possibly get the Microsoft guys to get me some footage of the character, hopefully soon in full finished form, before she comes out in October, I'll let you dudes know. But until then, next week is the Season 2 early launch where we will be playing TJ, so don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to have a week of TJ combo, as well as all the adjustments to all the new characters live and being played. My name is Maximilian. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week with more Killer Instinct.